All right, welcome back to the Chasing Winners College Football Edition. We are here for week 8, so that means that every team is pretty much every team has definitely hit the halfway point. Can't believe we're already here. Kyle Massaloni here with JP Lyon. I had a 7 a.m. flight this morning. I'm a bit tired, so JP, how are you feeling today?
I just had a flight that landed at 7:45 p.m. So I'm also tired. So we're going to get a great show in today because neither of us are very excited to be here.
Oh no, we're excited to be here, but as always, JP, how did we do last week? That's the real question.
So last week I'm not going to say it was a great week for either of us, but I did have a third straight week of gaining ground on you. I made up a half game last week because I went 7-8, bringing my total on the year to exactly 50%. And I went 3-2-1 on podcast picks and won my best bet. Kyle went 6-8-1 and 2-3-1 on his podcast picks, lost his best bet. I'm 4.5 games back of Kyle on the main picks, or the total picks, 4 back on podcast picks. And podcast parlay hit. We're back up over 0. We're 0.05 units in the positive. It's exactly where we want to be.
Hey, profit's what matters, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, actually, it mattered more if either of us had a team we were proud of now.
Well, yeah, that would be great, but
In lieu of that,
you're gaining ground on me. You are actually legitimately Jeff Fisher on the season, which I'm impressive with. I said I'm impressive with. Wow. 7 weeks in, 8 if you count week 0. We had 1 game in week 0. So you are exactly 50%.
I'll tell you what, if you drop 4 games next week, then you'll be at Jeff Fisher, which I think you should do. I think that's a good goal to achieve. It's not to beat me.
I don't think I'm gonna drop 4 games this week. I think we recover this week and I whoop your ass, but I might have just jinxed myself. We'll see. Let's hop into the first game here. Big noon kickoff, Fox. It's pretty much the game of the week, the game of the season in the Big Ten that does not involve teams that steal signs. Number 7 Penn State on the road against number 3 Ohio State. Ohio State are 4.5-point favorites. The total's 45. JP, how are you feeling going into this big one?
My feeling, I'm excited to watch it. That's my feeling on it. It's tough for me to pick this game, obviously, because both teams have looked pretty good. So 66% of the public on Penn State. It's actually the second highest differential of the week. Fun fact there of the games we're going to look at. So I'm going to take Ohio State. I'm doing something that I'm going to probably regret, but I'll speak to when we get to the second game. But I'm taking the home favorite here because I don't think both of them will lose. I think one of them will win, one of my picks. So I'm going to roll with it. I think Ohio State has been rolling coming in, and I'm looking forward to them doing the same.
Hey, Penn State have been rolling too with that impressive 63-0 win over UMass last week. What an opponent that was. I think that was their homecoming game too, which is hilarious. Always schedule your easiest game for homecoming. Don't be Miami last year and schedule Florida State and lose by 40. And they're also just rolling coming in general. No games where they scored less than 30 points this year, including an impressive 31 on the Iowa defense.
Was impressive.
And well, holding them to 0 is not as impressive.
Not impressive.
It's hilarious. But But yeah, so I think this is obviously the featured game of the week. It could decide the winner of the Big Ten, but we have sign stealers out there. They probably have both of these teams' signs already. But I think I'm gonna go the road underdog here. I may be going the opposite of you in directions in both of these games. It sounds like I'm going Penn State plus 4.5. I've been impressed with them all year. I think they're the best team in the Big. God, that's a bold statement to call them the best team in the Big Ten. But I mean, second in points against this season in the whole country, letting up just 8 points a game. I know the level of competition hasn't been very high, but that's still super impressive. Putting up 44 points a game. I like them. I like them a lot. I think their run game's great. They're gonna cover. They may win outright. I think they're gonna win outright. Bold strategy, bold pick. Um, Moving on here, you got anything else on that game? Are you ready?
No, we're ready.
All right, moving on here. 3:30 CBS, number 17 Tennessee on the road to number 11 Alabama. Alabama are 8.5 point favorites. Over under 47.5. It sounded like, based on the last game, based on that Ohio State Penn State game, it sounded like you have a little bit of a strategy going here. You said specifically talking about the next game. So what's the strategy?
Oh, I definitely didn't mean this game when I said it. But that essentially did give my pick away. I am taking Alabama. I think, and you're going to get a very, analytical, um, uh, analytical analysis is what I was going to say. So that's just great wordsmith by me. But I don't think Alabama can go into this game expecting to kind of coast. I think they have to be at least a little upset about what happened last year. And even though I don't think their team is 8.5 points better, I would hope that Saban can get them up for this game. I feel like I've said that for a game already this year, but I don't want to. I don't want to go back to that. So I'm going to take Alabama minus 8.5 and just bank on the defense really slowing down the run game of Tennessee. And if Milroe could hit just one of the open shots he was missing against Arkansas, that'd be really cool. Because watching Arkansas come back with Bama minus 18 in my pocket was really annoying. So I'm going to take Bama minus 8.5 here. Just keep rolling with Alabama and then probably keep losing.
Arkansas almost came back and won that game outright. That would have been wild.
It was annoying.
But yeah, it would be nice to see them connect on a few of these deep balls because I am also on Alabama minus 8.5. It's a revenge spot. I mean, it is. It's Nick Saban in a revenge spot. Like you mentioned, it's hard to imagine them not being up for this game. They've waited for it all season. At least the ones that have been there, most of them have been there since last year. They've waited on this one all season. They've been looking forward to it. They've had it circled on the calendar, bulletin board, whatever they got over there at Alabama, whatever secret motivational materials they have. So I think they're going to come out. They're going to come out as their best selves today, Saturday, and win and cover that minus 8.5 spread. JP, we finally may be getting that short show that we've always that this was initially supposed to be because we're running through it tonight.
I can't believe that. I will say, tightest differential on the public side of our 6 games here, 56% Alabama.
56% Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that would be much higher. People off the just bet Alabama to cover train. Remember?
Well, I don't think it's worked this year.
No, it hasn't. But I mean, there was a time when the public would just be on Alabama no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they still are
It would work.
56%, but the numbers are decreasing there.
Yep.
I mean, especially after watching Arkansas nearly come back from the dead to beat them.
People forget Arkansas lost to BYU as 8.5 point favorites. I was on BYU.
Woo pig.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, moving on here. Staying in the SEC. If I could find the game, that would be nice. Here we go. 7 p.m. ESPN. Number 13 Ole Miss on the road against Auburn, Jordan-Hare Stadium. The total is 55. There's a reason I started with the total, because Ole Miss are only 6-point favorites here. JP, what the hell is this line?
Kyle, I'd like to, instead of starting with any picks, I'd like you to guess what the public percentage is on Ole Miss.
72.
81% Ole Miss. This is all of the. It has all of the credentials of a classic "what is this line" game. It fits every bill. So I just by default have to take Auburn +6. I would hope that Auburn comes into this game a little pissed off after what just happened last week. Hooray for Auburn +12, but ignore that. So I guess I'll take Auburn +6 here. Obviously don't like it. Clearly not as good of a team as Ole Miss. But they have to show a little fight here, and Ole Miss should be far heavier favorites in this. So we'll take Ole Miss, or we'll take Auburn.
God, you're right. This has all the makings of this line makes absolutely zero sense, especially looking at what happened last week with Auburn. 3-game losing streak. Kept one of them close, kept the biggest one close actually, but the other two kind of fell off the rails at home. Or on the road, sorry. I should read signs better. Versus at. Yeah, it just makes no sense, which is why, oh God, I hate it though. I'm struggling with this. Like, I want to take Ole Miss -6. I really do. It makes all the sense in the world. But Vegas is telling me otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas is telling me otherwise. Ole Miss has also played a few close games this year, but they win them. LSU and Arkansas last 2 games, but both were 1 touchdown games at the end. So, but that would cover them the spread. If they won by 7, they would cover.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ!
Didn't they beat LSU by 6?
7. Actually,
7.
no, 6. You're right.
I was gonna say it was OT. So that wouldn't cover.
49. I can't read it. I can't. God, I'm all over the place today. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it with you. Biting the bullet. Auburn +6. And I am going to be so mad when Ole Miss win by 20.
Oh, I'm golfing during this game. I'm not watching it. There's no way.
It's a night game. You're golfing?
Is it really?
Yeah, it's 7:00.
Oh, I thought it was an afternoon game.
No, you're stuck watching it, buddy.
Oh, 6:00. Oh.
Oh, pain. You're just like you're.
I'll miss the first half. I'll miss the first half.
Although you may need to get like 5 screens going with all the games we have in primetime again. The primetime slates have been pretty big recently. They've been pretty good. So, moving along in that primetime slate, 7:30 kickoff, ABC. Number 16 Duke on the road going to Doak to play number 4 Florida State. Florida State are 14.5-point favorites. The total is 49.5. Now this seems to be the other direction. This seems to be, in my opinion, way too wide of a line.
I would have expected a tighter line coming in with Duke coming in off of beating NC State in the manner that they did. Which is kind of why I'm going to take Florida State. Obviously, there's no Riley Leonard. I didn't even think to check, but I assume he's not playing.
Let me double check that for you.
While he's checking, second tightest differential of the week, 57% of the public is on Florida State.
And we're going to, the next 2 games are going to have conversations of will they, won't they play this week. Riley Leonard, questionable.
Oh, football. Everyone's questionable. I'm questionable to play in my flag football game this week.
Riley Leonard could return versus number 4 Florida State. Mike Elko says a chance Riley Leonard will be back. They might just force him to play.
Hasn't he been out like 3 weeks?
Yeah.
With a high ankle sprain. Yeah, okay, sure, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to take Florida State. This was the original game I was talking about with Ohio State and Florida State. Because I mean, and you saying that the line should be tighter gives me more confidence, but hate the hook there. Obviously, we'll buy the hook when it comes down to it. I don't think Duke's offense, as it is right now, can keep up with Florida State. Now, they might be able to against one of the worst teams in the ACC and NC State. Obviously, still an inside joke shot at Kyle, but I'm just gonna assume that Duke can't put up that many points on Florida State. So yeah, we're gonna roll with Florida State minus 14.5.
We got sirens going outside. Do you hear them?
Nice. No.
Okay, good. So yeah, you're right. They're not going to put up that many points on Florida State, but their defense is spectacular. They have been all season. Obviously, Florida State has been putting up great numbers offensively against, they put up 45 on LSU, who we both think are is kind of mediocre. They haven't put up less than 31 all season, but I think this may be the day that they at least get shut down to say 24. God, 21 seems aggressive. It all seems pretty aggressive to say they're going to be stopped to that point, but I'm thinking they will. If Riley Leonard is back, it's a no-brainer to me, but it seems like he's still questionable. The line's probably baking him in as not playing with it being 14.5. But I'm still gonna trust my instinct here. I'm going Duke plus 14.5. I think they could keep it close. I think it's probably gonna be around a 10-point game. 24-14 sounds about right. God, I should do an exact score, shouldn't I? No, I shouldn't. That's really dumb.
Why not?
But yeah, the 24-14 range, maybe 24-10 sounds about right to me. 24-10 would cover them a 14.5. So I'm taking Duke plus 14.5.
Yeah, you saying that about the defense reminded me of Notre Dame playing Duke's defense, and that gave me unhappy thoughts. But I'm not going to change my pick because I will regret it. So, Ryan with Florida State. We'll see.
And how about Clemson playing Duke's defense and dropping 7?
Clemson's bad, Kyle. We'll talk about them later.
But Clemson also played Florida State pretty close and actually outplayed them.
We're ignoring that game.
All right, so we are ignoring that game and moving on to 8 o'clock on Fox. Another will he, won't he play quarterback moment as number 14 Utah goes on the road to the Coliseum to play number 18 USC. USC are 7-point favorites. The total is 53. It's kind of a revenge spot for USC coming off of that ridiculous Pac-12 championship game last year. JP, does it matter if Cam Rising plays?
I mean, yes, because he's electric, but he's not going to play. I'm so sick of Kyle Whittingham every week saying that he's questionable and he might play. We just don't know if he will or not. I can't handle Kyle Whittingham doing this every week. So he's not playing until further notice. All right. He's not. So USC revenge game against Utah. USC revenge game after the miserable output they just had last week.
Well, yeah, bounce back game and revenge game. We got the combo.
Yeah. We've got USC -7. I really like that it's not 7.5. There's some teams that USC can beat. They beat Colorado because they outlasted them, and Colorado also had a bad defense. Utah is a team where USC's weakness, of course, defense. Utah doesn't play offense right now.
Yeah.
They can't score points. So if you can't do that against USC, then I'm okay taking USC to cover a game. So I'm just gonna roll with USC -7.
Honestly, I was leaning the other side, but I just convinced myself by literally saying the revenge bounce back game combo. And the fact that Cam Rising is probably out because
But he might play.
But he might play. Riley Leonard might play too.
Yeah, sure.
Mike Elko may be joining that realm of just saying his quarterback maybe will play every week just to get them to watch film and just to get them to waste time and watch film and prepare just in case.
I can't wait for like 2 weeks from now when Robert Saleh says, "Yeah, Aaron Rodgers might play this week."
Oh, it's coming. You know it's coming. That guy's trying to defy science. Did you hear?
He's been doing that for years, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, but now he's specifically saying with the injury that he is trying to defy science.
Good on him.
I'm just letting this loud
that
talk.
one I can hear.
Yeah. Where was I?
USC.
Oh yeah, I was talking about Duke and Riley Leonard and defying. But yeah, so I think USC should be able to put up enough points to win this game. Caleb Williams really needs a bounce back game because Jesus, that game brought him from the Heisman favorite to I think it's over plus 1,000 now.
Wow.
Like he tanked the Heisman odds. It may be worth honestly placing a flyer on him. Now
he's gonna mess around and fall to the Vikings.
He's still gonna be the first overall pick, but that would be hilarious.
That's fine. We want Penix anyway.
I would rather Penix right now, anyways, as well.
No, you have Daniel Jones. He'll be good.
Oh, he'll be great. You know, one more year guaranteed after this. We have Tyrod Taylor.
Sure.
Oh God, I don't even want to talk about the Giants, even though I'm once again going to the game and torturing myself on Sunday.
That's on you.
That is 100% on me, and the fact that my family has season tickets and I like to take advantage of those. So yeah, back on the topic here. USC -7 is the pick. I really don't have much else to say there. Cam Rising probably isn't playing. If this week is somehow the week, I don't think it really affects the result too much here. Also because he hasn't played all year.
Yeah,
There's that too, not playing all year, coming into the biggest game of the year, or one of the biggest games of the year.
Of course, they bring in Taysom Hill for that.
Yep. Because as always, Thursday Night Football is on while we're recording this. And
Yep.
now, it's time for me to talk about it. 8 p.m. ACC Network. The game. I can't believe this game is on ACC Network, number one, but that's where we're at. We were in competition for that ABC primetime game, but except we lost last week and ruined that. Clemson going on the road to Miami. Both, God, it seems weird to say both unranked, but here we are. At Hard Rock Stadium, I'm weirdly not going to be there for a big Miami game. Clemson are 3-point favorites, over under 48.5. Now, this is a weird spot for both teams. This is literally both teams. If they win, they can salvage a season. Somewhat, there's still a chance to at least Miami accomplish our goal to get like a 9-3 season. If we win, that's still completely up for grabs. Clemson could at least salvage something and go 10-2, maybe. Both are kind of out of conference, but the loser, oh my God, people are going to be calling for heads. Like Mario's already going to be on the hot seat. Like Dabo is going to be criticized by everybody in the country. He's going to have to dive into the transfer portal. There's going to be chaos to ensue with whoever loses this game, and coming out on Saturday and coming out on Sunday and hearing about it. Hopefully it's Clemson that loses it, because I don't think I could withstand a Miami loss here. So yeah, I mean, in the game itself, as we know, if you've watched Miami this year, if you've watched them last week, if you watched them the week before against Georgia Tech, our last two losses, we've played two. Well, actually, we've two primetime games on a Saturday and lost both, of course. It's self-inflicted wounds, right? It's turnovers, penalties, 15 penalties against UNC last week. Our defensive coordinator gets a penalty called on him on a UNC 4th and 3 to give them a first down. Like, we fumble in the end zone. We fumble when we should be kneeling the ball out. It's just crazy error after crazy error after crazy error. At some point we're going to have to play a semblance of a clean game, right? Maybe one turnover instead of 4. Maybe like 7 penalties instead of 15. Just give me something clean. Like, I'm not even asking for a lot there. like if we play a clean football game, I mean, Texas A&M, we could play with anybody. It's just we have to clean up the mistakes. Fun fact too, Mario Cristobal still does not have an ACC win at home. So you're kind of cracking up over there, but yeah, so that has a chance to change. God, I just think we're the better football. I keep doing this every week where I'm just like, I think we're the better football team. UNC, if we play a clean game, I still think we win it. We dominated the first half, yet left it up 3 and then got outcoached in the second half. And Tez Walker lit us up. I can't forget to mention him. But I'm doing it. Miami +3. Miami money line is what I'm probably going to be betting. we're gonna turn it around. We're gonna get a 9-win season, hopefully a 10-win season. I just don't think we're beating Florida State on the road at this point. I think that's out of the question. But let's rally. Let's salvage something. Miami +3. Tyler Van Dyke also needs to get his shit together because or else I thought he should have gotten pulled last week, but this week maybe we actually make a decision should he not get his shit together.
Hearing that Cristobal has not won a home game in conference play is interesting. Didn't know that. Although Aranda's probably not very good at home in his tenure either. 59% of the country on Clemson. What was that?
I said, and don't listen to Josh Pate's ridiculous stat that Miami has not won a home game against Clemson since the 1950s because we've only played them 3 times at home since then. That's not even fair.
No, but that was like the stat that Texas Tech would use, and because we played at Cowboy Stadium for a while, so we hadn't beat them on the road in 40 years. So yeah, I'm familiar with that stat. I have to take Miami +3, and it's more of a I don't believe in either team. So A, I'm okay with taking the home dog, and B, I'd rather lose a game with you and get to mock Miami than lose a game on Clemson and then have to hear about Miami and how you're actually going to make the ACC title game.
Well, no, I will even admit that making the ACC title game with 2 conference losses is probably out of the question. I'm just trying to get to 9-3 and 10-2 here, finish the season in the top 25, have a respectable season. We have another great recruiting class coming in next year, stockpiling talent, and we'll be back next year.
Can you imagine if they lose to Georgia Tech, North Carolina, and then just get housed by Clemson at home?
Oh my God. But it would be typical of it would just be so typically Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Like the year when Florida State blocked an extra point for the win, and then we come into that game, it's a top 10 matchup. I think it was 2016. It was a not top 10, top 20 matchup coming in, both undefeated. FSU blocks an extra point for the win, and then we rattle off a ridiculous 4-game losing streak. It's like this is including that game. We ended 8-4 or 9-4 because we closed out on a 5-game winning streak. But it's like it's always one terrible, unlucky loss just spirals. I hope Mario Cristobal could break that trend, but the Saturday will be the test on if he could, and we may be calling him out again on potentially being a fraud here. He may be on fraud watch.
Last week you asked, is this the old Miami or the old Miami? I think it's safe to say it's the old Miami. But I think we're going to be asking the same question this week, aren't we?
It's essentially the same exact situation. I'm talking myself into a bounce back game. It's the same exact situation, except losing this one will be a hell of a lot worse than losing to UNC on the road.
The pendulum is starting to shift more towards old Miami than old Miami. But if they lose this game, then they're full on old Miami.
And by full on old Miami, you mean the Miami of
No, I mean we don't elaborate.
Okay. Exactly. You didn't let me elaborate. We're just cutting it on it means Miami of the
If you had, I would have cut you off.
Yeah. You would have cut the podcast right there.
Correct. Yes.
But yeah, so we both like suffering. So we're both on Miami +3 again. I think this week is the week. I think we cover, then beat UVA, NC State, and then we are 7-2 going into Tallahassee. That would be so ideal.
Imagine how you could have been 8-1.
Imagine how we could have been 9-0. No, UNC fucking killed us in that third quarter. Just Mac Brown. Mac Brown has our number over 2 coaches.
Mm-hmm.
We have not beaten North Carolina since Mac Brown has got there.
That's good to know. Maybe you tell a guy that before he bets out Miami against UNC.
No, I wanted to keep that a little secret because I thought things were changing. But
and then now that you tell me Dabo, they haven't beaten Dabo at home or they haven't beaten Clemson at home since what was I gonna say?
I think it was like 1956.
Yeah, since the steam engine was invented.
we only play them 3 times at home though. That's ridiculous.
Miami hasn't beaten Clemson at home since we were a British colony.
Jesus Christ. Oh man. Just gonna hit one more analytical thing to watch out for here. So Xavier, quote unquote analytical, Xavier Restrepo and Tyler Van Dyke are roommates and best friends. And you could see in the last game, literally whenever Tyler Van Dyke would get in trouble, he would telegraph a pass to Xavier Restrepo. And let's hope we get some other receivers involved.
Do you think they'll start to notice that he's just throwing to one dude?
Yes. They noticed it last week.
Didn't even take one game.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I think we should get some other receivers involved this week because Restrepo may be double covered. So
Makes sense.
my Miami +3 is the pick for both of us. God, I'm probably gonna bet Miami money line also and just be let down again, but hopefully not. Hopefully we win this week.
You're a sicko for this and the next 2 picks you're gonna share.
All right. So yes, I am an absolute sicko. So I'm
just gonna start. I'm gonna start here. If we're going to best bets, what would a sicko bet on? Can you answer that for me?
What is the absolute most sicko game of this week? It would just think about it. I'm gonna leave a drum roll here. It is Minnesota versus Iowa with a total of 31 with the public on the under. That is absurd. But I do think Iowa is the much better football team. So, God damn it, I'm going to take Iowa -3.5 as my best bet. And God damn it, I am also going to make it my podcast parlay pick. The Floyd of Rosedale is staying in Iowa.
That was a trophy game. That's sad. Sad.
It is a sad trophy game. It's Josh Pate's favorite trophy.
No, not a sad trophy game. I love the trophy. I said sad for the Gophers.
Yeah.
So, off of one battle of bad Big Ten teams, we go now to another battle of bad Big Ten teams. And I'm looking at Wisconsin traveling to Illinois. Wisconsin are 2.5-point favorites on the road. And they just lost 15-6 to Iowa last week as 8-point favorites. And they just threw away their ridiculously easy path to the Big Ten West championship. So this has to be a bounce back spot for them. So I'm going to take Wisconsin -2.5. We might throw Fickle on the fraud watch if we A, ever talked about Wisconsin again, and B, if they lose this game. So I don't think they will. So we're going to take Wisconsin minus 2.5.
Looking now, I want to
What?
look at their schedule and see if we're going to talk about Wisconsin again. Probably not.
No, there'd be no reason to talk about them against any of the good teams or the bad teams. So there's your answer. What else do we have?
Your podcast parlay pick.
Podcast parlay time. You're on Iowa money line, which is just the. I am looking at not a Big Ten game anymore. I've had enough of those now from the two we already talked about. So I'm looking at. It's probably not the same level as Iowa, Minnesota in the Big 12. I'd say it's probably more like Wisconsin, Illinois. But I'm looking at Oklahoma State going on the road to West Virginia. West Virginia is 3.5-point favorites. And I'm going to take West Virginia money line in the parlay. Now, I told Kyle if this game was at night, I think West Virginia would be like 8-point favorites, 9-point favorites, especially, Thursday night game, Friday night game, they're like 2 touchdown favorites. If this game was in Oklahoma State at night, Saturday night, Oklahoma State's a 10-point favorite. So this is a little like sneak preview of actually it doesn't matter how good the teams are, it just matters when they're playing in these two places specifically. Did you know that?
Now I know.
I've talked to oddsmakers. That's actually what they do. Inside tip.
Swings based on the time of the game.
Inside tip for you there. So I'm going to take West Virginia money line. I think they're the better team, and I also bet on Oklahoma State's conference win total. So this is kind of a hedge, I guess. But I also like West Virginia. I think they're the better team. That's all I'm going with. So the podcast parlay is plus 152. Going for a third win in a row. Trying to get very positive. So that's exciting. We'll see what happens.
That would be nice if so. This is plus 152. So if this hits, it would be up over. Thank God this.
We'd be up to 1.57 units.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to the Giants game this weekend? You do anything else?
And so NYCFC game Saturday, like right before the Canes game.
Just end the podcast.
Last game of the season. Probably not going to make the playoffs. We need to win and we need help. But help that could happen, which is of course giving me too much hope. So it's funny. That's a 6:00 game, and then the Canes are on at 8. I may just be suffering all day.
That's usually what happens on the weekend. So yeah. We suffer all week, and then we just wait for the weekend so we can suffer more.
Specifically during football season.
No, basketball season happens too.
Hey. Not with Miami. It didn't last 2 years.
Oh, you weren't suffering at the Final Four game?
Well, yeah, that was a little different. We got there.
Mm-hmm.
The goal was to get there.
That was the goal?
Well, no. Once we were there, obviously the goal was to win. So I was suffering. But I mean, throughout the season, I was very happy.
There was suffering.
There was suffering to be had.
There always is. There always is.
We clearly do this to suffer and nothing else.
Yep. That's why we do the podcast.
we need to vent our suffering. This is therapy. Who does Baylor have this week? Do we even know anymore?
We play Cincy at 11 a.m.
Oh shit.
We're 3.5-point underdogs.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, it's not good.
Could you guys just like raise money like in
No,
fire
we can't.
immediately?
We can't keep raising money. We raise all the money in the world, and then we go build a new building and name
Oh,
it after the same two people.
that's good. Do those two people want to give the money towards firing Dave Aranda?
um, Even if they did, I don't think our president would do it because she's not really interested in winning football games. Um, and that's not very pleasant to learn this year.
But she's interested in winning women's basketball games, it seems like.
Um, no, that's why they got rid of Mulkey.
Ah, yeah. So I guess they're not too into that either.
They don't do that either.
On that sad note.
Hey, the Saints tied it up.
Oh shit. Sad note. I'm on Jaguars money line.
Oops.
But on that note, JP, what are you doing this weekend?
I am suffering. No, I'm going to play flag football. We've been really bad so far, so we're learning plays. So I need to study the playbook. And I'm golfing, watching some football, and then on Monday night I'm going to suffer as I watch the Niners Vikings game with my friend who's a Niners fan.
Oh no, you're really gonna suffer through that one.
I'm going to suffer.
I thought my suffering was bad. That sounds miserable.
They're probably going to try and pull me back in. They're going to lose by like 3 and be up in the second half, or we'll lose by 40.
No in between.
I don't think there is one.
Especially against the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
Although didn't they lose last week?
Yeah, bounce back game.
Oh Jesus Christ.
I was watching them lose, and I was like, yeah, we're going to get killed.
All right, it's time to watch Trevor Lawrence try to win a football game here. So everybody enjoy the games this week. Hopefully Miami wins. Hopefully Baylor finds a way to do something with Dave Aranda. Everybody enjoy. Have a great weekend.
See y'all.